I think I discovered Twitch in like 2013-ish. I guess I could look. How old is my account? Yeah, May 4th, 2013. That's weird. That's my wife's birthday. Interesting coincidence.
Welcome to the 11th part of our 422,000 part series, Better Know a Speedrunner. Today, we'll learn more about LilAggy. Aggie is one of the most renowned players of the infamously punishing FromSoft title, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. He's a multi-time world record holder, and currently holds the top spot in 4 different categories. A quick note before we get started, if you're a speedrunner yourself, and you're interested in being featured in this series, hit me up on Discord or simply let me know in the comments below. LilAggy is a 24-year-old software developer from Indianapolis, Indiana. If he's not on the clock for work, Aggie is either gaming fast, gaming casually, or spending time with his wife. Although his speedrunning focus today may be on rapidly dispatching enemies in feudal Japan, that wasn't always the case.
So yeah, I got into Twitch in 2013. The first couple of streamers that I really grew attached to and liked watching regularly were Raisefire, who at the time was a Super Mario Sunshine 120 Shine speedrunner. He just did a 120 Shine speedrun for 3D All-Stars the other day. That was really cool to see. And then also Bird650, who was also a Sunshine guy, also an SM64 guy. Yeah, I guess Mario speedruns were the initial draw for me. I don't know, I just watched those guys for a long time. I loved the community that they had fostered. You know, it was chill, but it was funny, and it was like exciting. I don't know, it just seemed like it had everything. First game I ever speedrun, when Mario Odyssey was coming out, I have like, you know, an opportunity to maybe try and do something similar myself. And so I did. I played the game, loved it. Like a month later, started doing speedruns. And then when I actually got at least what I considered semi-good at it, I started streaming it. And I've been pretty consistent since then. At least a couple times a week for the last 3 years almost. Usually more like 5 times a week. Craziness. Oh, actually, it's not Mario Odyssey. It's Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, I remember that because, I don't know, 3 or 4 months before I started streaming, I got my tonsils removed and I was stuck at home for like a week. And I had a GameCube and I had Luigi's Mansion. And another streamer that I watched a lot was Fire Dragon, who of course used to be a big Luigi's Mansion guy. So I decided that I would try and learn that. And I got like, I don't know, maybe an hour 20, which I mean, that's pretty good, right?
He was no slouch in the Nintendo sphere, but Aggie's first real world record came in the land of Sekiro, and was won against some of the best speedrunners in the world.
The first one that mattered was when I first got Sekiro 80%. And that was like 6-ish months into running that game, which is basically the same as 6-ish months after it released, because I started running that ASAP. It felt good. It felt really good. I know one of the reasons that I switched from running Mario Odyssey to running a wildly different game like Sekiro is one, I was just kind of burned out. And I've always been a big Souls fan in general. So Sekiro was coming out and I played through Sekiro casually and I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be a pretty good speed game. So I decided to hop on it. And here we are now. It definitely felt super, super validating to get a world record in that game, because to switch to a game with less runners, but it's still like competitive and it's still a popular game, and to be able to come out on top of that, especially over like big runners like Distortion or like NEMS and stuff like that, it felt really good. Felt really, really good. I have no idea how I reacted on stream. This will be interesting to watch. Dude, we did it. Oh my god, it's over! Finally! Oh my god! Yes! Holy shit! Oh my god, alright, 80% world record.
In less than 3 years of running, Aggie has gathered up a sizable list of achievements outside of world record times, not the least of which is his seemingly inexplicable success on YouTube and a Sekiro challenge run that was truly an impressive feat, pun intended.
I'm super proud of my world records, obviously. I work really, really hard for those. And I'm like very thankful that they actually managed to draw in an audience. I feel like I just like won the YouTube lottery kind of, because I mean, that record, my first record only has 4,500 views. Like I have a record with over 1.5 million views, I think. Most of my YouTube uploads these days get anywhere from like 30,000-ish to multiple 100,000 of views, depending on what exactly it is. And that feels really, really cool, and I'm super, super proud of that. As far as a special challenge run goes, I beat Sekiro with my feet. Check it out. We got a foot cam. Like just a normal controller. This controller right here, the feet controller. Just like this. But yeah, I made this like special holder for it. I put it under my desk. I have a camera watching the feet, and I beat Sekiro with my feet. Go, 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 go. Yes! Oh my god, we did it. It's over.
He attributes a fair amount of his success to his appearance on the largest speedrunning marathon in the world. Running at GDQ isn't an automatic viewer magnet.
Yeah, bitch! Magnets! Oh!
As he learned from his first appearance, but he noticed a real bump from his second, a run that almost didn't happen at all.
I guess the big breakthrough moment was when I got on GDQ for the second time. I was on GDQ for GDQX TwitchCon 2019, and I did Sekiro 80% there. And that went well, but it didn't really like change a whole lot. So I kind of like took that as a sign as, wow, okay, I just got featured on GDQ with this game, and I'm still at like, you know, not the Twitch partner level, so maybe it's time to move on. Like after a couple months after that, I switched to Luigi's Mansion 3, which had just come out at the time. So I switched to that game for like a month and a half or so, and I mean that game didn't really do that good either, so I was kind of lost. And then AGDQ 2020 was rolling around, and I had submitted Sekiro All Mems and Beads for that and got rejected because Distortion also submitted All Mems and Beads, and I remember that annoyed me at the time because Distortion had not run Sekiro in like several months, and they still accepted him over me, and they put QTT6 as the background or as the backup. And, you know, surprise, surprise, the day rolls around and they're like, oh, wait, neither of us have any experience with Sekiro anymore. So this drops out, and then QTT drops out. I decided to email them, and I was like, hey, I submitted for this, and I'm like going to the event still. Do you want me to run this? And they're like, we'll get back to you, I guess. And then they did not get back to me until literally the last day of the event. And like 2 hours before they wanted me to run, they were like, hey, can you run? And I was like, yeah, sure. But I was like, definitely not at the top of my game. So that run was kind of rough. We went over estimate, but I still did it. And that one like really got the ball rolling on my stream. And I went from, you know, 50-ish to 100-ish.
While Twitch is popular around the globe, and many streamers find an audience that crosses continents, there are a few unique elements to LilAggy's stream that appear to have attracted some extra international viewers.
After that, there was this huge French Sekiro tournament. Why am I wearing this? I'm not even listening to anything. Okay. In February, there was this French speedrun show called the Barrière. I don't know how to say it.
Barrière.
This thing. Yeah, I got this super cool trophy for winning their Sekiro 80% speedrun tournament. They did a show with 4 different games. What is happening to my mic right now? Jesus Christ. They did a show in France with 4 different speed games. It was Minecraft, Sekiro, Portal 2, and Celeste. That was the 4th. So they had this like big qualifier thing. It was like $5,000 per winner, and we won. And that got me like a lot of French audience, and I guess just global audience in general. I feel like I have a lot of fans spread around the world, which is strange. Like I have a very large Spanish audience because I play Sekiro in Spanish, and it's a big meme. Me llamo! And it apparently resonates with them. I don't know. I have a lot of French fans from this. I have a lot of Japanese fans from the fact that I play a Japanese game. Oh yeah. I don't remember what the question was, but there you go.
Congrats! GG! And thank you for coming, guys. Thank you.
There was a time that I myself attempted to learn the Sekiro speedrun. In retrospect, some of Aggy's advice to beginner runners hits a bit close to home.
A lot of people will just like watch a world record and then be like, okay, time to learn everything they do in the world record.
I would never do something that stupid.
Without like doing more background research on how people got to world record. It's like one thing if you're joining a speedrun scene, like right when the game releases and it's building up, because then you kind of grow with the game and you like build your skills along with it and you learn all these easier things or these slower things, and then you learn these like super optimized fast things as they're discovered. Whereas if you're coming in late to the scene and all this stuff is already there and you're like, okay, well, I need to learn the good stuff, right? But you should probably not. and like learn a very, very, very basic run at first. And I think anyone would tell you that, but it's something that a lot of people don't do. So don't jump straight to world record strats just because that's the relevant thing for world record, because it's not relevant for you yet.
In a game that's notoriously difficult from start to finish, Aggie still didn't have too much trouble picking out the one strat that was most satisfying to nail down.
There's a lot of hard strats in Sekiro. I think the most iconic one is still Ogre Skip, which is right at the beginning of the 80% run to get around the wall. But yeah, that strat is super, super, super hard. And at the time that I learned it, it was not something that was generally considered viable. And I kind of took that as a challenge to learn it and like, you know, actually get good at it. Because I know some runners had done it. Like Distortion got a record with Ogre Skip in it, but it was more of a crapshoot. I mean, it still kind of is a crapshoot, to be honest, but I feel like I proved to myself in the community that Ogre Skip was something that could be overcome. It was a hard strat. It was generally considered not very viable, and I made it viable, so I'm proud of that.
Naturally, Aggie's biggest inspirations came from his Nintendo running days, and although each runner has evolved in different directions, the friendships that were fostered have stood the test of time.
Well, the runners that inspired me to run were, again, those guys that I watched when I first got into Twitch. Pretty much those three were my main influences. Of course, I never ran any of the games that those guys ran, and definitely not at the same time as them. So as far as ones that helped me when I was first learning, the Mario Odyssey community is like super tight-knit, and you know, I'm still friends with a lot of those guys today, even if a lot of us aren't even like relevant in Odyssey anymore. Timpani, Billy Fan, Mozerks, a lot of other guys. They were all Mario Odyssey runners when I was a Mario Odyssey runner. Maz is kind of doing his own thing now. He doesn't stream much anymore. But the other two, Philly Fan and Timpani, they're really kind of expanding into like what I would call variety speedrunners now for Mario and Nintendo stuff. And I don't know, they inspire me because they have followed their hearts on what they want to stream. Whereas I feel like I kind of, not compromised, but like changed my game plan. Like I'm still a Nintendo guy at heart above anything, and I would love to stream Nintendo games, but I feel like Sekiro was working better for me, so I went for it, you know, and I still love Sekiro and Souls, but I am super inspired by them by not taking the quote-unquote easy road.
Reminiscing about his beginnings as a Mario and Luigi runner sparked another valuable piece of advice for anyone wanting to try speedrunning.
Don't be afraid to get into speedrunning. I think a lot of people find speedrunning to be something that is intimidating if they've never done it before. And then once they've actually done it, they realize it's like not as impossibly difficult as they imagined. So, I mean, if it's something that you think is interesting to you and something that you think you might want to try, you should just try it. You know, you don't have to take it mega seriously at first. You just have to time yourself doing a run. You know, speedrunning is more than just world record. It's something you do for fun. That's the core of it. So if you want to just like, you know, time yourself and then beat a game, time yourself again, see if you can beat it faster. You don't really have to learn a single strat ever if you don't really want to. You can just discover it all on your own. And eventually when you're ready, join the rest of the community. There's lots and lots of fun to be found speedrunning. And it's not anywhere close to as hard as you would think it is. I mean, some world records are really fucking hard. Some are really fucking hard. But you know, if you want to tackle those, you can eventually.
I think we have it.
Yes! It's done!
Between dominating a Souls game, 2 appearances on the big stage, and a crazy tournament win in France, LilAggy has demonstrated just what's possible when one dedicates themselves to the practice. Aggie's family may be skeptical about the earning potential of speedrunning today, but he believes he can depend on their support when the inevitable jump to full-time comes.
They think it's really cool. I don't know if they really think it's something that I could actually make a career yet, but whenever I'm ready to make that step, which is hopefully soon, I think they will be there for me. My dad passed away a couple years ago, so I'm sad that he never got to see where I am today with it. He was pretty much around for like the very beginnings of me streaming before it was something I could even really mention to them because they wouldn't care. So yeah, it would have been nice to be able to tell him about, you know, what I've done, like this freaking monstrosity over here. I know you would have been proud of that.
Before we go, I'd like to give a huge shout out to LilAggy for taking the time to answer the questions for this feature. You can find links to his YouTube, Twitch channel, and Twitter in the description below. Don't forget to give him a follow. I hope you enjoyed today's Better Know a Speedrunner. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. As usual, I'd love any and all feedback you may have, so just leave it in the comments below. Also, the entire month of October is dedicated to highlighting several horror game speedrunners, so hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss it. Finally, special thanks to our super generous Patreon supporters, Totally Not a Mimic, Happy Code Monkey, and the Grogster. And if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next run.